Well, I'm definitely not unconsciously fed information because I don't usually use the word blastula. And it immediately sounded off a red flag that it was an incorrect word to use what I was describing. So, whoever was transmitting that information to me, what I would say is you definitely are not on the same page because we're talking about human consciousness, not animal. And blastula is listed as a group of beginning cells in an animal, an incarnating animal. Okay? So please strike that from the first video. As you can tell, I wasn't too thrilled with the term myself and said that the transmitter was not, how shall we say, clearly suggesting I add information that was useful at all. So that's about it. All of the information that I share on here, unless I am receiving a transmission from Andromedan people, only, that are the only reliable ones, usually, if they have something they want to add to the video, and usually you can tell. 95% of the time, it's just me with the knowledge that I have of energy science from my own experience and what I have observed over really the last 20 years in the phenomenon that has been produced all around me and sometimes around others. So that's where all of it comes from and work, as I said before, I did to explain how consciousness is wired into the brain, the nervous system, the whole biological matrix. How to explain that, how to explain how phenomenon is produced, how to explain what NDEs are, out of body experiences. All of it I have done in my work. Uh, a lot of it is in the events as well, more advanced information. Some of it is in the Starlight State blog and in the Blue Matrix Energetics Info YouTube and in feature films that I have written. A lot of it is there. And I want to address something. People cling to small, they cling to this person who's an energy science person. But you have to understand I'm also a comedy performer. And the way that I have stayed sane through these insane times is the use of comedy to laugh and to put good energy into my cells and to not be in any kind of depression or any kind of you know upset for prolonged periods of time. And I use communication as well to get things out so that I'm not carrying stuff around that I'm getting skewed about with skewed perception that can lead to erroneous decisions that are not good for my career. I am not an emotionally based person because I use quantum mind management in terms of decision making. However, I do feel emotions, obviously, and I'm not some sort of sociopathic pathic, type either. I'm objective because of my background in energy science. So there are people who didn't really know what to do with the Monroe or the comedy. It's part of a performer who has used some of that in the writing. She's even written cameos for herself to play in the movies, uh, in order to have some fun and to, when you get really punched out and have so much theory from the energy science and you're like buzzing and just ready to heave sometimes from it. That's when I use comedy because you can look at something silly and lighthearted or hear humor about things that have made us all angry in the hard humor from Starlight's comedy repertoire and Safe Comedy to be able to have a balance, and that's how I have a balance. So, no, I'm not turning stupid. It is part of a very brilliant performing mind I have for arts and entertainment in order to have a balance in my life so that I can have a good laugh and also can make people laugh and can bring back some of the magic and the sweetness and the endearing qualities and some of the sensuality of Marilyn Monroe, the beautiful woman that passed away and is reincarnated in the flesh in this incarnation of mine, which is why there's a strong resemblance and a caring, kind heart, and a very, as was the old words, we know it's really the being, nervous systems and brain firing, caring, as expressed the uh, through the in a higher bandwidth frequency. um, Caring is the giving of information that is helpful to other people, regardless of the tone or mood of the person. Now, Monroe was tone and mood of sweetness, of kindness, of being a loving and an embracing person who people loved, trusted, and were thrilled with the generous expression of affection and also the hilarious comedy about things that were, what are we going to do? How do we, oh, how do I say it? How do we actually deal with this situation? It's starting to go crazy. So that's Marilyn Monroe, and that was a demonstration of something that on the big screen really worked, right? So I use it as the endearing, lovable performer that is also va va voom, and it's hilarious. It is hilarious, but yet it's a person that is reincarnated that also gave you the energy signs. And if you watch Monroe in some of the interviews, uh, she's it's more toned down. It isn't as the same as the roles. So yes, you get both, and that's just me, And before Monroe, I had many other incarnations. So it is the diversity of the soul's experience through the recording of many, many thousands of years that we all are as these brilliant, brilliant spirits incarnate in the flesh. That people who are not sure, how this works, it's really all it is, So we have a diversity of expression of our inner nature, right? Of the things that we've experienced and the things that we cherish and embrace. And some are on a slower level of energy brought down to communicate, to impart, to have the loving nature, affection, all of that. For example, when we go into energy signs, I'm more serious and I am more less demonstrative and more into the theory for you to have understanding. So you see the difference, but I'm both performer and an energy science person. So enjoy all of the YouTube channels that I have for you, the playlists on the YouTube channel, Rena Hudson. And I wish you all the best in your study and enjoyment of the entertainment that I have provided for you as well.